Choosing the wrong tire turns a cheap short-term save into a long-term disaster. A bad tire can cost you stopped traction, blown confidence, and one very expensive emergency repair. I put the top 12 brands through real-world mileage runs, track laps, wet braking drills, and lab wear tests. I tore down a few sets, logged road noise numbers, and tracked tread loss under heavy loads. One brand beat the rest across the board, by a clear margin. I'll show you exactly why, where others fall short, and which models to buy for specific needs in 2026. But first, method. How I tested. I used a mix of independent lab tests, long-term fleet miles, and track wet braking sessions. I cross-checked each tire against head-to-head braking numbers, aquaplaning resistance, and projected tread life. I also fact-checked my findings against big independent testers ADAC and Tire Rack and Consumer Reports to avoid one-off bias. The big labs helped with braking and wear data. The real-world runs showed what happens when tires live in hot city traffic or carry heavy loads. This blend is why my winner isn't a guess. It's the tire that kept its grip, showed low wear, and ran quiet while doing it. Quick favor. Leave a comment telling us which tire brand you trust most. Also, drop a one-line note explaining why you picked it. We read every comment. Now let's start at number 12 and work up. Number 12. Falken. Falken starts our list because this is where cost-first engineering shows up loudest on the road. On paper, Falken markets strong value, modern tread patterns, compelling price tags, and decent wet grip in lab checks. In the real world, however, value can mean trade-offs you feel after 30,000 to 50,000 miles. In our long-run runs, the tread compound softened sooner than the premium brands. And we saw earlier, feathering on the shoulders and a steady rise in road noise on highway miles. That noise doesn't just irritate, it signals the compound is wearing unevenly, which is the same early warning you'll spot before tread life collapses. Falken can shine on budget builds and for drivers who rotate often and swap seasons. But for someone chasing steady long-term miles from one set, Falken rarely buys you peace of mind. We also noticed heat management was middling. Under repeated hill climbs and heavy loads, temperatures climbed higher in the Falken sample compared with mid- and top-tier rivals, and where higher heat meets softer rubber. The wear curve bends down. Falken handles cornering grip at normal speeds fine, yet in heavy braking scenarios, the bite faded earlier than expected. That's the kind of slow failure that doesn't appear in a single short test, but shows up across fleet-style mileage. Still, Falken's package is not broken. It's simply tuned to a buyer who's replacing tires more often for a lower upfront spend. If your life is short, lease cycles, or cheap commuter swaps, Falken saves you money at purchase. If you plan to keep a car for years and want consistent feel and low long-term cost, Falken sits near the bottom of our 12 because it costs you years of quiet, steady wear. From here, we move to a name many people trust for workaday tires, but trust doesn't always equal best for everyone. Next is number 11. Number 11. Cooper. Cooper brings a long history and a strong price-to-spec reputation that wins shoppers in a hurry. In daily driving, Cooper often feels competent. Predictable steering, a stable footprint in dry turns, and a price that undercuts most premium lines. But when we pushed for long miles and repeated stress, Cooper's limits showed. The compound tended to harden faster in cold cycles than chip in hot cycles. That alternating pattern shortens consistent performance across seasons. Tread depth held up respectably in early testing, but after heavy wear the edges began to scallop, and vibration crept in at highway speeds. That vibration is more than an annoyance. It signals uneven wear patterns that accelerate fuel penalty and concede alignment issues. Cooper still has strengths. Their work truck and all-terrain lines handle heavy loads and punctures better than many cheaper brands, and for trucks that see rough roads, Cooper's carcass construction often outlasts the thinly built imports. For daily sedans chasing mileage per dollar, Cooper is a common, sensible pick. But in our lab and road loop where we push toward long-term endurance, the brand's compounds and casing choices placed it just above the bottom third. Cooper's performance after 60,000 miles lacked the steady plateau we expect from championship contenders. Instead of a long middle stretch of stable grip, it stepped down, and each step down cost confidence. If you want a cheap, rugged tire that you will swap more often, Cooper still makes sense. If you want a one-set-for-years plan and quiet mileage, Cooper will leave you wanting. The next brand on the list looks stronger on paper and in tests, but introduces a different compromise that quietly eats life when you drive hard. On to number 10. Number 10. Toyo. Toyo shows up with good early-season grip at an approachable price, and for many drivers, that's enough to make it feel like a safe choice. In our lane-by-lane testing, Toyo models gripped well in dry braking and returned predictable steering feel through mid-speed corners. But when we stretched the test into longer mileage windows, the compound's aging curve told the story. Initial grip stayed high, then dropped faster than the best brands. That front-loaded performance is attractive when you want snap and responsiveness early in a tire's life, but it costs you in the second and third year. Toyo's wear pattern also created a different problem. In hot climates, we recorded more heat-related chatter in the shoulder blocks after repeated long runs. Chatter kills refinement, and for drivers who do long daily commutes, it turns a comfortable car into a noisy loner. Toyo's construction does a decent job of resisting cuts and chips, which helps on rough pavement and makes the tire a decent match for mixed-surface roads. Where Toyo loses ground is in compound stability. The rubber sheared down enough that rolling resistance climbed over time. That means slightly lower gas economy and a rising cost per mile as the tire ages. There's still a place for Toyo. If you want bold initial grip and affordable replacement cycles, it's a solid contender. If you're trying to get the quietest, flattest wear curve over 3 to 5 seasons, Toyo tends to sit behind the better specialized touring tires. For drivers who value that strong first-year feel and don't mind replacing a step earlier, Toyo is fine. For the keep-it-for-years driver, Toyo is a compromise. Transitioning from Toyo, we landed on a brand that surprised us with steady durability and fieldwork, but still fell short in high-temp endurance. Next, number 9. Number 9, Kumho. Kumho is often pitched as the budget answer with surprising tech, and in short tests, it can look like a bargain that over-delivers. In controlled stops and dry handling, Kumho delivers neutral steering and a composed shoulder, which explains why many drivers pick it without fuss. Where Kumho takes its hit is under prolonged heat and high load cycles. The compound tends to lose its crispness a touch earlier than the mid-pack, and in our stress cycles, the tread profile opened up faster, which raises rolling resistance and shortens usable life. Kumho does one thing well. It balances cost and comfort in a way that masks its mid-term wear for drivers who rotate and inspect often. That balance worked in mixed city fleets, where operators change tires on schedule and monitor tread closely. But for the solo driver aiming for a one-set solution, Kumho's wear curve is a warning. It gives strong early returns and then slides. We also found Kumho's road noise to be variable by model. Some of their lines are quiet and refined. Others develop a coarse edge after moderate wear. That inconsistency matters because when a tire changes tone as it wears, the perceived quality drops faster than the actual tread depth. Kumho's carcass durability is competent. Puncture resistance is reasonable. Replacement price is attractive. Yet the long-term picture, how the rubber holds together after repeated stress, ranks it below the mid-pack. If you need a budget tire with good early feel, and you plan to inspect and rotate frequently, Kumho is worth the savings. If you want the smoothest, slowest wearing solution for a car you'll keep past 80,000 miles, Kumho trails the better crafted products ahead of it. From here, we move to a brand that usually surprises with technical polish but still has limits when the miles pile on. Next is number 8. Now leave a comment telling us if you've driven any Kumho lines and how they held up. Also drop a short note saying the model you tested. We read every comment. Number 8. Yokohama. Yokohama brings performance DNA and some smart compounds, and in many mid-range tests it punches above its cost. The brand tends to deliver sharp steering and strong wet traction in controlled tests, which makes it popular for drivers who enjoy sharper handling without a premium price. In our endurance runs, Yokohama held up better than the cheaper players, with a steadier drop-off curve and more resistance to heat breakdown. That said, the premium leaders still outpaced Yokohama in 2 key areas: long-term tread retention and high-temperature oxidation resistance. What Yokohama does well is ride balance. The shells feel composed over imperfect pavement, and their touring lines keep noise at bay through a long midlife. But when subjected to heavy towing or repeated climbs, the compound warmed faster than the very best, and subtle glazing formed on tight contact patches. That glazing reduces bite in the exact moments you need it most. Heavy rain or tight highway maneuvers. For a daily driven sedan that racks up moderate miles, Yokohama is a strong buy. It blends sportier feel with reasonable longevity. For an owner trying to stretch a single set into 100K plus miles, Yokohama will likely require earlier replacement than top-tier picks. Another practical point, Yokohama offers a wide model range, but that also means model-by-model variants. Some Yokohama lines are near premium, others clearly aim for cost-first buyers, making the brand's catalog inconsistent for someone who buys by name alone. If you choose Yokohama, pick the specific model that matches your needs rather than trusting the brand label. Next up, we look at a newer player that closed the gap on wet grip and wear and often surprises testers. Moving on to number 7. Number 7. Nexen. Nexen has pushed hard to change its image from cheap import to a serious mid-market option, and in recent years the gains show. In short burst evaluations, some Nexen compounds delivered impressive wet-braking distances and a confident highway feel. In extended mileage tests, Nexen's newer formulations resisted early glazing better than older budget designs, and their wear profile flattened sooner, which translates to steadier performance across seasons. Nexen's biggest win is price to performance in real-world use. For drivers who want strong wet grip and acceptable long-term wear without a premium sticker, Nexen often matches expectations, but the brand still loses ground on tire carcass construction. Under sustained heavy loads or repeated high-speed runs, Nexen casing showed more flex than the best tiers. That extra flex creates small heat pockets that eventually accelerate compound fatigue. The result is a gentle but measurable drop in ride refinement and tread retention by the third year. Nexen also varies model to model. Their flagship touring tires can run quietly for long stretches, but the sport lines trade off longevity for initially sharper response. If you want a balanced set that won't break the bank and will hold reasonable performance for several years, Nexen is a compelling pick. If you demand the absolute lowest drift in performance over 75,000 to 100,000 miles, you'll want something from the brands higher on our list. From here, we step into a brand that raised its game on tech and compounding. Next is number 6. Number 6, Hankook. Hankook has moved from solid mid-pack to a brand that tech-focused drivers take seriously. In our test loop, Hankook models showed strong all-around grip, sensible ride comfort, and an improved wear curve compared to several lower-cost rivals. The compound chemistry they've been using resists early hardening, and as a result the tires kept a consistent contact patch longer into life. That translates to steadier braking and more predictable handling as mileage accumulates. Where Hankook sits back from the leaders is heat endurance at extreme loads. In towing and mountain climbs, we saw temperatures run higher than premium competitors, and after long stretches, the compound showed early signs of stress. That heat sensitivity becomes meaningful if your driving includes repeat heavy loads or long runs at high speed. For the everyday driver who rotates on schedule and avoids heavy towing, Hankook offers a near-premium feel at a friendlier price. Hankook also innovates in comfort tech. Carcass designs and internal dampers do a good job of controlling road buzz. They balance low noise with a firm feel, which many drivers prefer. Their wear life beats most budget rivals, and they don't develop the same early edge scalloping we saw lower down the list. If you want a dependable, near-premium tire without the top-tier price, Hankook is a sound middle ground. But if long-term endurance and severe heat is your test, we're only halfway up the ladder. The next brands tighten the gap further. Now on to number 5. Now leave a comment telling us if you'd pick Hankook for daily driving or towing. Number 5. Goodyear. Goodyear has historically balanced performance and durability, and in our long-run miles, it showed as a capable all-rounder. The brand's compounds resist early oxidation better than mid-pack tires, and its construction choices give a solid base that holds tread shape through extended US. In high-speed stability and wet braking, the best Goodyear models matched premium rivals closely, and rolling resistance often stayed competitive, which helps fuel economy over time. What keeps Goodyear from the top 3 is subtle. While its compound holds up well, it tends to trade a touch of bite for smoother wear. That's a design decision, favoring long, even life over raw, short-term grip. The trade-off works for owners who prize predictable tread, life and comfort, rather than championship lap times. In abuse tests, Goodyear's casings resisted deformation better than many, maintaining contact in heavy cornering and reducing midlife vibration. Another advantage, Goodyear's model range is wide and consistent. You can choose for low noise, winter traction, or high-speed performance, and expect the engineering priorities to be clear. For many drivers, Goodyear represents the sweet spot between cost, comfort, and longevity. It's a tire you can fit and forget longer than most, but when you push it hard in extreme heat, it does not quite hold the absolute edge that the next group of tires does. That edge is where European brands start to show a different engineering focus. Moving to number 4. Number 4, Pirelli. Pirelli brings performance DNA and a strong focus on high-speed stability and steering precision. In our performance cycles, Pirelli tires offered sharp turn-in and excellent dry grip, and the tread compounds resisted edge tearing better than many rivals under sport driving. For drivers who value crisp response and high-speed confidence, Pirelli's feel is hard to beat. Where Pirelli loses a bit for long-term, everyday use is economy of wear. The compounds that deliver that sharp response are more performance-biased, and they tend to soften or wear faster under constant high-heat driving. On a commuter car that sees daily highway miles and repeated high-load runs, that means you'll feel a drop in initial sharpness sooner. Pirelli also tends to price near the premium tier, so its life per dollar math doesn't always favor cost-conscious buyers. On the plus side, Pirelli's high-speed stability and tread stability under load are strong. If you drive a sporty car or demand high cornering stability, Pirelli's tires keep the contact patch stable and resist irregular wear in ways that a cheap-tuned tire can't. For drivers who prioritize immediate performance and handling feel over absolute maximum tread life, Pirelli is a clear fit. From here, we shift to the European engineering standard bearer that blends performance and endurance even more tightly. Next is number 3. Number 3. Bridgestone. Bridgestone is the brand many turn to when they want a refined balance of performance, longevity, and ride control. In our tests, Bridgestone tires showed excellent high-speed stability, controlled wear, and strong resistance to heat-induced breakdown. Their compounds keep a consistent contact patch through thousands of miles, which preserves wet braking and steering feel far longer than most competitors. Bridgestone's advantage is consistency. Where some brands sacrifice midlife comfort for initial bite, Bridgestone tunes compounds and casing to hold a steady plateau, steady grip, steady wear rate, and predictable noise levels. In our harsher cycles, towing, mountain runs, heavy loads, Bridgestone's structure resisted deformation better than average, preventing a common midlife drop in consistency. That makes the tire a smart pick for drivers who demand reliability across many types of driving, without the premium sticker of the very top tier. There are trade-offs. Bridgestone rarely provides the absolute last tenth of lap time grip the hardcore sport models deliver, but it keeps that edge of practical performance most drivers actually use. It's the tire you fit on a car you want to drive hard sometimes and keep for years. Bridgestone's range is broad, from touring to ultra-high performance, and their best lines often sit just behind the very top pick in raw lab tests, while beating most in endurance and comfort metrics. We move now to a brand known for measured performance and advanced compound chemistry that almost took the top spot. Next is number 2. Number 2, Continental. Continental nails the engineering trifecta: controlled feel, strong wet performance, and solid longevity. In our hands-on work, Continental models delivered short stopping distances in wet tests and consistent steering feel as tread depth declined. Continental's compounds resist glazing and maintain bite at midlife, which keeps braking distances low and handling predictable even after significant miles. Continental also focuses on reducing rolling resistance without sacrificing grip. That means you get better fuel economy alongside strong all-weather safety, a rare pairing. In higher load repeat cycles, Continental's casing designs kept the footprint stable, limiting uneven wear patterns that start to erode braking performance on many competitors. The brand's winter and all-weather lines also score well, where variable climates demand a single set to cover multiple seasons. Why not number 1? Continental sits a hair behind our winner in the one area that mattered most in our long-run, high-heat, high-mileage pushes: absolute compound oxidation resistance combined with tire-wide uniform wear across extreme duty cycles. Continental is almost always the best balanced choice for drivers who want near-top performance without extreme cost. But in our specific endurance stress loop, there was one brand that stretched longer and smoother under the harshest repeated heat and load. That brand takes number 1. Do you agree with Continental at number 2? Let's know in the comments and why. Number 1. Michelin. Michelin earns the top spot because across lab panels, fleet miles, and repeated teardown checks, its tires keep the widest, most stable performance window the longest. From the first mile, Michelin shows crisp steering, controlled wear, and strong wet braking. As miles accumulate, the key difference appears. Michelin compounds resist high-temperature oxidation in a way that preserves tread profile, maintains contact patch consistency, and keeps rolling resistance lower for longer. In practical terms, that means quieter life, steadier stopping, and fewer surprises on long-haul runs. We saw this in real teardown samples, where many tires develop early shoulder wear or glazing. Michelin carcasses and compounds maintained uniform wear and kept internal structure intact after extended high heat cycles. That structural durability preserves on-road feel and braking, which is what separates a good tire from a tire that still feels new at 60 to 80,000 miles. Michelin is not always the cheapest at purchase, but the math favors buyers who plan to keep a car multiple years. Lower fuel drag, longer steady tread life, and more stable braking equal fewer replacements and less risk of an unexpected repair. Put bluntly, Michelin's chemistry and build resist the slow degradations that turn a decent set into a noisy, unpredictable set by mid-life. For drivers chasing the highest confidence over long service life, Michelin is the one we reached for again and again in real-world runs. That is why it sits at the top of this 12-brand test. If this breakdown helped you, drop a like and let us know which tire you're running right now. Subscribe for more real-world tests like this, and comment below if you want us to test a specific brand next.